Recording it. Great. Welcome to the Local Energy Advocates meeting where we are presenting Valley Green Energy. And we will take questions at the end because I won't be able to see anybody raising their hands until after I finish presenting. I'm Andra Rose. I'm president of Local Energy Advocates. And I've given a presentation like this already to a group in Amherst that was organized by my town councilors. So Valley Green Energy is a new electricity program that will be run by and for Amherst, Northampton, and Pelham communities. It's a municipal electricity aggregation program, which is a form of group electricity purchasing. And you've probably gotten solicited by private marketers of electricity programs. And this is a municipal alternative to those. There are over 200 other municipalities that have similar programs, including Hadley, Belchertown, Leverett, Sunderland, Hatfield, Greenfield, and many others, close and far. So the reasons for participating are many, but here are some. You get cleaner electricity for a lower cost than Eversource or National Grid currently charge. Parenthetically, of course, future savings cannot be guaranteed because Eversource and National Grid change their pricing every 6 months. But one of the advantages of Valley Green Energy is that the pricing is stable and consistent. We'll have the same pricing for 2 years. So, and there are 3 choices for you to choose from for the, the type of supply. So here's what Valley Green Energy will not do. It doesn't replace the utilities. You will still get your electricity from Eversource or National Grid, but we get to choose who is supplying your electricity, and I'll explain that more. So there are 3 ways that you can buy electricity in Massachusetts. Most people are just getting basic service from their utility. In our cases, Eversource or National Grid. And the utility buys the, the electricity for you. You can also sign with a private company that chooses the supplier. And Valley Green Energy is an example of the city or town signing a contract with our choice of an electricity supplier. So here's how it works. Right now, before Valley Green Energy starts, unless you're on one of those private contracts, your supply and delivery is both provided by your utility. But they are separate charges on your electric bill, as I'll show you next after this. Valley Green Energy splits off the supply from the delivery so that we can choose our supplier. And that's how we get more renewable electricity, because that's what we asked our supplier to give us. The delivery is still done by your utility. And here are the pricing options. The Valley Green Energy Standard Green, which is the one in the center of the Valley Green Energy part of this slide, is the one that you would be auto-enrolled into, like all programs of this kind run by municipalities. The system is an auto-enrollment. So there's nothing you have to do unless you want to choose to opt for one of the other options. Valley Green Energy 100% green costs a little more, but that is sourced from 100% renewable energy in New England. If your budget requires it, you can opt to VGE Basic, which is a little less expensive. But all of them are less expensive than Eversource and National Grid's current basic rate. And those prices will remain the same until November 2026. So here's a National Grid bill. You have your supply charges, and your supplier will say First Point. That's the name of the supplier that we chose for Valley Green Energy. And their number will appear under supply services. And the new lower charge for supply will be reflected on the bill. If you chose VGE Basic or VGE 100% green, it'll be a different charge. And here's an Eversource bill where you can see the supply part of the bill. Sorry, it goes off the edge. So the only thing that changes is your electricity supplier. This is just another part of the Eversource bill. So what doesn't change is your utility. Your utility still delivers your electricity. They still, they're the ones to call if your power goes out, and they will be the ones to maintain the grid. They will still send you the bill, and you'll pay this one bill. There's no extra bill for Valley Green Energy. It's all on your electricity bill. And if you're eligible for any discounts from your utility, those continue. So these things are not going to change. And it's very easy to participate because of the auto-enrollment system. If you want to opt up to 100% renewable, then you would contact Valley Green Energy, and they're the consultants for Valley Green Energy. And I'll show you the way to do that at the end. And you've already received the formal notification in the mail that has your town or city's seal on the envelope. But you need to know that participation isn't required, and you can opt out before being auto-enrolled, and you can opt out at any time in the future with no penalty or fee. So just to be clear, there's a lot that doesn't change. If you have a contract with an electricity supplier already from a private source, You won't be auto-enrolled, but you can join if you want. You just have to contact Valley Green Energy Consultants. If you have solar panels or you have community solar credits on your bill, or you get a payment for community solar, that will not change. If you have a low income discount, fuel assistance, or are on National Grid's budget plan, that doesn't change. If you're on Eversource's budget building, there is a change. The budget building will continue to apply to your delivery charge, because remember, there's separate supply and delivery charges, but it won't apply to your supply charge, so that will no longer be budgeted. So here's how to contact Valley Green Energy. valleygreenenergy.org, easy to remember. And the number is on the website, but here it is as well. And if you have any questions, you can call them, and they're very good at answering individuals' questions. So I'm going to stop sharing now. And we can take any questions or discussion that you want to bring up.
Andra, I've
Yeah.
had a couple of people tell me that they have all these other charges on their bill, some kind of customer charge. They're not on my bill, but people are complaining that, you know, National Grid really has other charges besides just supply and electricity. And I'm wondering if you know more about this and what they might be.
Well, there are lots of little fees. They're, you know, thousands of cents on the dollar that are required. So I don't know why you don't see them on your bill, but they're there. There's many different fees, some of them for clean energy.
No, I
And
don't
there's
see
nothing,
that.
and
Customer
there's
charge
nothing
is
we
the
can
only
do
one I
about those.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. Well, I just like, I don't really understand what their problem, what their issue is.
You should
But
ask to see their bill.
I will. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll try to find out more. I thought maybe you might have run into this. Thanks.
Yes.
I think there's
Tom.
an example of the bill right on the website. I think I saw one in the presentation too, right?
Well, it doesn't have the entire bill.
Oh,
Yeah, Tom.
Thanks. Nice job presenting that. It was very, especially when you said nothing changes, emphasizing, you know, here's all the things that don't change. Where do I find the sources of electricity? You know, in other words, is there a list of the mass class 1 RECs somewhere that make up the portfolio of the 3 different choices?
That is not on the website. That would be a question you'd have to take to the consultants and find
Thanks.
out if that's accessible.
I don't believe that the sources of the renewable energy certificates have yet been determined. We have told the supplier what we don't want, which is nuclear and trash burning and et cetera. But we have, and so that leaves solar and wind, but we have not heard from them exactly which sources are going to be providing the renewable energy certificates.
Would the general statement be on the website that we have only solar and wind and don't have these other things?
It should be.
Well, Ben Mile told me that the 35% that's mandated underneath all the stuff that kind of grows year after year is from all the number one renewable energy sources listed, which includes things that we don't like.
There's nothing we
but
can do about that
There's
part.
nothing we can do about that. But other beyond the 35%, that's when it's, solar and wind.
Yeah. Adele, did you have something to say?
I, I think what I was going to say is that those other charges on the bill are things that the legislature has allowed the utilities to charge for. The utilities lobbied heavily to be able to charge a renewable energy charge, and et cetera. Those are things that they have been specifically allowed to charge by the legislature. And I think it's all, bullshit myself, but that nobody asked me.
Well, can they still charge them with if we're using First Point?
We don't have any
Yes.
jurisdiction over those charges as Valley Green Energy. Yeah. Tina.
Yeah, I guess, is that what you would call rate basing? So that anytime they want to do infrastructure upgrades and stuff like that, that's what the gas utilities do, right? To improve, to work on their projects, they add charges or they increase their rates and they spread it out among all the consumers so that we essentially pay for upgrades. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the electric utility does that as well. And then I just had a question about I'm just curious, ISO is the one that determines where all of our electricity is coming from on a specific day at a specific hour, right? So we don't really have any control over that. Isn't that where basically we're getting our electricity from? Okay.
Yeah. It's all one big bathtub.
It's all one big soup or pie, and they divide it up, and okay. And ISO really has to determine what that is because of the need and the demand and the rates and everything, right? So then it goes to the utility supplier.
Yes,
that
but
feeds it
that's
to
the
us.
actual electricity. That's the actual kilowatts.
Okay.
When we say we're getting additional renewable energy, that means that we're buying renewable energy credits, which are a separate, there's a separate market for
Got
the
it.
electricity and for the renewable energy credits.
Okay. So that's where it could get a little confusing for like somebody. I mean, that's somewhat
That's where
confusing.
everybody gets confused, Tina.
Okay. Thank you.
It's not an easy thing to understand because it's a market-based system that tries to use simple language to explain it, like saying your electricity will be 10% more renewable. Well, not
Mm,
really.
not directly. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Lee,
So will we be concerned with the concept, this shave the peak? I don't know, will we carry that over some way? Because once again, we will need to shave the peak, I would assume.
yeah, and our hope is by having this community-based electricity program, we can institute other programs like educating people about shaving the peak and perhaps someday that could even be a part of what we bargain with our supplier to if we can prove that we can reduce our use during the peak, maybe someday a supplier would actually give us a discount for our electricity because we won't be using the electricity that's most expensive.
So that's interesting. In the very, very old days, if you ran your washing machine at night, I mean, this is decades ago, you had a lower rate. I mean, do you know that concept? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to throw that because I'm
Yeah.
thrilled what's happening, but
We
it's something
need to
I might
have
consider.
that. Yeah. We
It's
won't,
called time of use rate.
Right, right. Like
We don't
plug
have
our
that
car.
in Massachusetts yet, but what they're saying is that they would have to have a smart meter on each house
Yeah, I
in
see.
order to institute that. And they don't have smart meters, and they're expensive, and
Right.
there's some
That's
opposition
interesting.
to them, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we try to plug our car in at night, but anyway, I
yeah,
understand the metering problem.
but we could do an educational program.
Right, just something else to do, and the more you do it, the more the bug gets in people's minds, and it's helpful.
Yeah.
We just had someone, I don't even know what he was doing, going up and down. I think he was trying to sell solar panels, and he saw the bolt, and he said, "Do you have a I don't know, the fancy chargers?" I said, "No, we just plug it into our garage outlet." But we have that, we don't drive 40 miles to work every day and so forth, but
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Tom,
You're muted.
Thanks. Can you describe who the entity is that we're contracting with, for that Valley Green Energy is contracting with? And also, how do the governments of the towns / cities of Amherst, Pelham, and Northampton get involved in any decision making?
the supplier's name is First Point Power. And the executives for each of the three communities met to select that supplier. So the way that the three communities decide something of that import is by the executives meeting. Otherwise, they send a staff or volunteer to represent them. And
But,
jointly make decisions.
I
So
think
that
what
would
Tom
happen
is
every 2 years, right? If this is going to be a 2-year contract, 2 years from now, those executive reps would get together and evaluate another offering and decide who's going to be the the renewable energy credit supplier for the next contract. Is that right?
The supplier of all our electricity, actually, not just the renewable.
Okay,
part.
of all the electricity. Okay.
But the mass power choice is in the middle of all this. They're the ones that put out the RFP that the suppliers respond to with their various bids, that then they present to the executives of the three communities.
Yeah, Mass Power Choice is our consultant.
And they do the bidding, or they also do some level of customer service, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good questions.
So how do we find the program that has been recorded your slideshow. I'm sure
Oh.
I should know how, but
We'll put it up onto the localenergyadvocates.org website.
okay. Great.
And the consultants will be giving, and some municipal staff will be giving a presentation on Thursday night at 7 o'clock. And if you don't have that link, we can make sure you get it.
Yeah, I just write for our church every week, and I've been pushing this.
That's fine. But any questions that you have,
Yeah,
be sure to check the website and ask your questions there.
yep.
Yeah. Tom, you have another?
Yes, I'm trying to represent some of the questions I've heard from neighbors and other people. Are we able to request from Mass Power Choice an economic analysis of what happens when a typical customer chooses community solar plus Valley Green Energy versus just straight into Valley Green Energy, the different options?
Well, the benefits of doing community solar are the same, whether you're a part of Valley Green Energy or not. That doesn't change. It's the same discount that they offer you, no matter who the supplier is of your electricity. So it works perfectly well with Valley Green Energy. It's no different than now.
I think that Tom is asking, which is the better deal? Should you discontinue your enrollment in community shared solar if this Valley Green Energy is a better deal?
And the answer to
And
that,
I don't think that anybody has an answer to that question.
well, it's not either or. You can do them both.
You can do them both, and we personally are doing them both, but that depends on having extra electricity needs besides that provided by the community shared solar, which we do. And that's why we're continuing to have both. But if you're getting all of your electricity from community shared solar met, then you're not going to really benefit much from our Valley Green Energy price.
No, Adele, that is not true. Community solar is simply a discount. It doesn't have anything to do with supply. Valley Green Energy is just a supplier of electricity, and community solar is just a discount.
Okay, but it shows up on your bill as a net metering credit.
Right.
So what I think you're saying, Andra, and maybe this is the answer to the question, is the Valley Green Energy price is what will be on your bill and will be subtracted from by the net metering credits. So therefore, the benefit is double, or
Well,
you're getting both of the benefits.
Yeah, you compounded the benefits of getting a 15%. Well, the contract with Co-op Power is 15%
Right.
reduction, and
Right.
it's 15% reduction off the Valley Green Energy per kilowatt hour price. Is that what I'm
Exactly.
understanding? Okay, good.
That's
That's what I was.
I think that's the answer you're looking for.
Well, I'm following up from that Northampton neighbors question that came up, and there wasn't really a good answer to that because we didn't know.
Yeah.
So this is all good stuff. Thank you. Thank you. Whoops.
That's good.
Oh.
Good question. You got any more like that, Tom?
I've got them written down, so that's why I'm trying to come up with them. Solar, homeowner solar panel credits, that same thing, that comes off of the just the way it is now, and the credits are the national grid rate. Is that correct? I don't know if I asked that question thoroughly enough. The net metering credit you get for having solar panels on your house, is that at the national grid kilowatt hour rate, or is it at the Valley Green Energy kilowatt hour
Yeah,
rate?
interesting.
Well, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but I gave a little presentation here at VHC, and I decided to look at the last 24 months of what it costs to be on National Grid and see how that compared with our new energy supplier, and discovered we would have saved about 30% of our electricity bill if Valley Green had existed over the last 2 years. And of course, then I immediately went on to say, you know, the energy supply, who knows what's going to happen with the Mideast getting hotter every day and the Ukraine and so forth. You can't guarantee any prices, but I just thought it would be interesting for people to know. So I just throw that into the equation.
Thank you.
Woo.
And that's good. That's good information to know, because I think you could even choose a shorter time window or something. But that's not quite my question, I don't think.
No, I wasn't trying to respond to your question, but
okay.
I was just trying to say, I was trying
Good
to point
stuff.
out that 2 years of consistent
Yeah.
rates is better than you think, you know, so, or potentially
Interesting.
much better than you think.
And I happen to know that the communities that already had aggregations were very, very happy that they were not subjected to those price spikes.
So back to my question.
So I think it's different than community solar. I think community solar uses the total amount of the supply charge. And I think that if you have your own solar, you are actually being paid by your utility for that electricity at a certain rate.
Yeah, yeah.
So Valley Green Energy won't change that.
So I think that would be a good question to get more definitively answered about, you know, what is the per kilowatt hour rate that Valley Green Energy is going to credit a homeowner if they have solar.
No, Valley Green Energy
They
will not
won't.
be doing the
Or I
credit.
mean, National Grid, sorry, National Grid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That
My
would be a good,
Unless you were sure about that. You
that would
sort
be
of
a
said,
good question for the consultant. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
because you said you're
Yeah.
pretty sure, but yeah, I think we want to get.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Where was the other
I think
question?
it's the same as what National Grid gives, Tom, which means you actually get a slightly better deal because the electricity may be cheaper with Valley Green Energy.
Yeah, I think what Andrew said was, we think that you're getting a credit at the National Grid rate, but we're
Yes,
not
that's
sure.
what.
Yeah.
No, I think Ben Miles said you were. So I think that is true. It's just you get more credits because the amount you need to replenish that energy from Valley Green Energy is cheaper than what National Grid is currently charging. So
Wow.
Other questions? Well, thank you, everybody. We had a good discussion, good questions. And Darcy, I think we can stop the recording here.
Okay.